choosing from World of Warcraft's ensemble cast.
This is a fucking marathon.
Matt, I feel bad for you, my man. We wanted to decide on a cast that we really felt was pivotal to these events. That would have certain perspectives that might be unexpected. There's only so much time to feature characters. You make the time! Like, I'm sorry, but in FF14, they're willing to just have dialogue. You make the dialogue. It doesn't cost that much more. Like, does it turn out that Blizzard's sitting there with no money? They're like, oh shit, you've got to Venmo Laura Bailey another $500 for 3 more words. Oh, we can't afford it. You make the time.
Multi-dollar company.
Here's the thing. You can have pace that involves slow and listen, so story can happen. Yeah. Instead of all of our story must be done while the player is picking up bear arses and clicking on things.
Oh yeah, or as they've accomplished very well in Zereth Mortis, hey, we're going to give Firim a load of dialogue, Pelagos and Firim are going to have a load of dialogue that they will deliver to you at a decent pace while you're doing quest steps. Also, if you mount, you're going too fast and they'll over fucking lap.
Because of course they don't design... Yep. I love it when that happens.
Yeah.
So, man, it's like you guys make the time, and if I had I have many things to say to them. Please make more time for your story, because it's just so hard for these characters to land.
Yeah.
And at least like when you had something. I mean, why do people really like Silver Pine Forest? It was focused. It was just, we're moving south through this zone. We're going to follow Sylvanas as she's, aggressive.
That's the story, yeah.
And that's it. Very simple. And within that, there was enough time.
Yeah.
But there's not enough time. And within these like little campaign steps they do. And I don't know. It's like the way they've done it in FF14 is like, I am actively thrilled and excited to see what the next bit of the MSQ is, because I want to know where the story goes. Yeah. But they've never treated their in-game storytelling with enough seriousness to make that happen. Seriousness. The one time I've actually had a really good little narrative experience was doing the 3 Bolvar quests as Kyrian. Or not as Kyrian, sorry, because that's part of it. Not Bolvar. He doesn't have any quests. Imagine Mr. Crispy having content.
I was like, Uther. Yeah,
see the bit?
That was great, yeah.
Or was it him? No, I'm sorry, I've lost my mind. There's 2. There's actually 2.
Oh God, 2 bits you like.
I really enjoyed those Uther quests. Those were great. And yeah, do you know what? A part of it was just like, oh, I'm back in a place that looks like Warcraft.
Oh, yeah.
It was really weird. If the next Warcraft expansion just looked like a Catazone and was full of Warcrafty things, honestly, I'd be happy. You could probably have it for cheaper. But anyway. The other one was in the Kyrian campaign where your man dies. And, me and Clea are gonna, be like, okay, listen, mate, you've died. We got to transition you over to, your I was going to say next stage of life. No, over to death, and you get to live out his last.
Oh yeah, those moments. Yeah.
You live out this guy's last moments with his family. He's going to protect his family. Even the way they pace it. You're sitting there mashing that shotgun button, and initially you actually feel like, oh, I could actually get through this.
That's content.
And then they pace the spawn so that, no, you can get through it. But just the way, you go in, you board up all the windows, it's brilliant. And it's back in Red Ridge, and I care about Red Ridge.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's a brilliant quest. I loved it. It was great. And it's like, why can't we have more of those?
Because you have to see him, fucking Bolvar has to tell you to stop the jailer by sneaking around and finding it. I mean, even the Zereth Mortis stuff, the Dreadlords was even kind of cool. And every little idea they have is clearly someone in the quest team has had a fucking, like a flash of brilliance and gone, this is going to be great. And they're the only person. They're allowed like 4 of those per patch. It's like, sorry, you've used your 4 allotted light bulb moments, and this time they've all went in the raid encounter teams or your quest or shit.
And do you know what that story was? There was no lore to that story.
Yeah.
There was no explanation.
That's what made it good. Same with the fucking Enlightened.
Yeah, there was no breadcrumb.
Yeah.
It was just, here's a story. We're going to tell this short story really effectively over a 10-minute quest. And I was sitting there being like, I'm back. I'm home. when I was doing that quest.
Yeah, well, it's like
You know?
this thing. Well, there's definitely parts of that are important because it was back to Red Ridge. It was back to World of Warcraft context, as opposed to why are we in blue people Greece, or why are we in a brown forest, or why is all the worms everywhere, or why are we on a big fucking bit of rot, Maldraxxus. There's some of that, but it's also some of it's just the fact that it's an understandable human experience story where you fucking feel something. It's kind of thing where every time, Jaina has a feeling, people are like, oh, well, that's pretty good. And it's because Jaina is one of the last characters that has anything human that's relatable to humans. Jaina is sad over Arthas, and everyone's like, I completely, immediately empathize with that feeling. Not everyone's going to have had an ex-boyfriend who was a Lich King. That's fairly unique to Jaina, generally speaking. But it's still the idea of loved someone who went a wrong way, and she wasn't able to, take him from going that way. And everyone sees that and goes, oh, I understand that. And even people who really like Arthur's like, I understand making the right choice, the hard choice, but it sent you down a dark path. That stuff's all great empathy. And the jailer was betrayed by his family. We're like, was he? We still don't know. We know he was, but we don't know why. We don't know any of that shit at all.
Yeah. Remember that bit in Wrath of the Lich King when, you got to kind of like be Arthas for a wee bit? Sort of relive, see a few pivotal moments.
Yeah.
Which, for me, I was just like, oh, I remember that bit from the RTS.
Yeah.
I assume some people are like, oh, here's how it was.
Yeah.
Because they maybe didn't know or weren't aware.
They had the whole thing.
Who is Zoval? What is Zoval?
The whole thing under Icecrown with his heart.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any fucking sense in any universe, by any form of magic in that game, by any form of lore in that game. But everyone playing was like, oh, it's Lich King's heart. Oh, that's all his emotions and happy and humanity. And he destroyed it.
You could just say,
oh my god, he's gone beyond. He's made the decision to kill who he was. That's a great human element that we all understand. As opposed to the jailers like, I must remake reality because I was betrayed once.
describe Zoval. Describe who Zoval is.
Yeah.
Without stating his goals or what he looks like. Because you know that like
Zoval,
very simple thing of like, was this character memorable? Why?
Yeah.
Is this a good, well-written character? It's like, oh, that character, he's really good, he's really badass, he looks like this, and he shoots all the dudes, and he's, whoa, cool.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
That's fair enough.
You haven't actually said anything about that character, though, have you? Right? Or, you look at something very different, or... and you can sort of know more about the characters. That's what I'd say with Zoval. It's like he's nothing. He's a nobody.
Yeah.
And he's gobbled up everyone we like.
Yeah. Like even Sargeras, you're like, well, Sargeras, obviously that story wasn't extremely well told in game. It was more of a lore thing. But you're like, yeah, this is a big badass dude who has done kind of the Arthas thing, where it's like, no, I have to do the really bad thing because it's the only way I can see out of this. It's akin to it's akin to people who steal because of no other choice. You go, well, that was the wrong thing to do by our set of morals, by our set of society, but we understand it was necessary. That's a very tough, very difficult decision to make. And none of the characters do that anymore.
Yeah, so it's really weird. Now, to go to the second incredible quote.
Yes.
That's part of the fun of giving a story an epilogue chapter. You get an opportunity to pepper in some of those characters you didn't feature you weren't featured in the main storyline, but who may still have some interesting perspectives. So I guess that's just the stay a while and listens that happen after the raid.
Yeah.
So
fantastic.
Yay! I think we've done KT, but for Sylvanas.
Yep.
Sylvanas' soul was divided at the moment of her death. A part of it went to the jailer's menagerie of souls we saw during Chains of Domination, but that didn't mean she didn't have choice throughout her life. She made choices that were her own, and ultimately, she did come in contact with the jailer, and she did decide to go in league with him. But she was not mind-controlled, she was not manipulated, she made those choices herself. She went in with eyes wide open. But then the thing is, she was kind of manipulated by the jailer, wasn't she? Because her soul was split, and it's like he did his whole plan, sort of, knowing her soul was split. So, yeah, this is the thing. She didn't... I guess the thing is, motivationally, she didn't think she was being manipulated, but she was being manipulated. Yeah. I guess that's more the phrasing of it.
Here's a big question for you.
Uh-oh, a big one.
If she wasn't dominated, why? Why wasn't she?
Because he didn't. He didn't
Why did he
have
not?
he didn't have a Morin blade or a floop gloop or a glop dorp or some other form of MacGuffin to dominate her with. Maybe, I guess, perhaps. I mean, he had half her soul. But,
Yeah, but he
was just chilling.
yeah. He dominates everything else. Why did he not do that? Because she turned on him at the end. So why did he not just dominate her?
Well, why didn't he dominate Arthas completely? I guess he just didn't have the means for some reason.
Well, Arthas, yeah, because he was outside of the world. Yeah. But I mean, why when Sylvanas showed up to him, did he not go, oh, and you're now completely under my control. Have a good one.
I don't know. Because she took the red pill, took the blue pill. I don't know, some Matrix thing. I don't fucking know.
So, but if he's going around dominating the most things that he sees that aren't going to do his will, does it all the time, it's implied that a lot of the Mossworn are dominated because they're Mossworn dominated. But why? Like, why? Why not? Why have we not explained that? Why have we not explored? Because one of I know why, and it's because the jailer wanted to have this ally. He wanted someone who would follow him and believe in him, and that's why the Kyrian were all turned from the path of the purpose and stuff like that. He wants actual followers, and she turned, and that broke him in that second. He went, right, fuck this. I can't have friends. No one likes me. Everyone's going to betray me in the end. But I'm making all this shit up in my head.
But that's not. We don't know that's what the
I'm making that up because
no. See what you did, Matt, is you just kind of like applied that he has some sort of inner emotional life.
Yeah.
Whereas from what we understand, it's just he always wanted to rule the universe for reasons. Bad, big bad. Wabonga, wahoo.
Yeah.
He always just wanted to be the big bad. He didn't care about Sylvanas.
And I'm all for subtext. But when you have so much subtext that none of it even vaguely surfaces above the water whatsoever, then what the fuck are you doing?
Can we have a story in our story, please?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Yes, right, cool. So, yes, the answer to that, Matt, is reasons. Now then, actions have consequences in World of Warcraft Shadowlands. Sylvanas, the two pieces of her soul can't stay two separate things. They need to be one Sylvanas, and she has to come to terms with that. That will involve confronting the things she has done, as we saw hints of in that cinematic, and also trying to find, if she can, a path forward, and whatever shape that might take. Yes. And for Anduin, it's not that Anduin goes back to normal and free of his weight. It's going to be with him for a very long time, and we will see the repercussions of that being carried out in Eternity's End and content beyond. He struggled for a long time with the duality of him wanting to be a person of peace and wanting to unite people who have struggles versus having to be a soldier, being dominated by the jailer is another whole set of trauma on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's all fair. I would like to see that. I would like to see that explored very well in the Dragon Isles. And it was, I don't think we have it in the stream doc, but it was that leak, of course, from the Scrolls of Lore. Was it the Discord that they said?
That was a banging leak.
Revenge of Soulgate that said, like, one of the things Anduin's going to do is just shank, or try to shank Wrathion when he shows up, because he's, like, kind of twisted from being dominated. He's like, I don't fucking trust you, and just get him.
Whoa.
And I was like, that would be really cool, but hopefully we see something like that. Because I don't want to have to read before the store Shadows Rising version 5, where it's like, here's what Anduin does to deal with all of the feelings of being dominated, because we couldn't put it in the game.
Yeah, you gotta stop relying on books.
Yeah, not that. Well, I was just about to say not that they do that. The Sylvanas book's out in a month.
Oh yeah, woo.
Yay.